What's up, everybody, and welcome to the UB post-game show. I'm Andrew. This is Mark. Second week in a row that we have a nail-biter down to the end, and UB loses on a field goal. I gotta be honest, they definitely showed a little bit of fight and heart in this game. So I'm not terribly upset about it. They obviously didn't have their starting quarterback in, and to be in it with a minute to go, to get a game-tying touchdown with less than a minute to go, it shows that this team definitely does have some resiliency and some fighting, as we saw against like Kent State, where they came back and ended up winning that game. It's just tough because there's two games that are right there. Back-to-back weeks. We're talking about a team that could potentially be 4-1 instead of 2-3, right? Like they're right there for the taking. And I think that is the hardest pill to swallow, is the fact that, again, we're right there. We're right there in back-to-back weeks against two pretty good opponents. Troy hasn't been all that great, but they're still a pretty quality football program. Same with UConn. They're not the UConn team of last year, but still a good UConn team. And Buffalo's right in it down at the end. Their backup quarterback. Give me some thoughts. What did you think about today?
All right. So if you tuned in, during the Troy game, and you saw what happened in the fourth quarter, and you were like, inexcusable, I need a full 60 minutes, then you got that today. You got to see what a full 60 minutes of pure Buffalo Bulls football looked like. So, you could check that box. I had three keys to the game, one of which was a QB rotation. So they did throw in Wright in a really odd situation where they were backed up to their own goal line, and then you didn't see him until the fourth quarter.
Yeah, you didn't see him again until
in which case then you saw a very effective
run.
Yeah, you got a very effective drive out of Jason Wright where he ran the ball. So I did technically get it. I just don't think it was the execution of it that I'm entirely happy with. But they did put him in for certain packages, and they did get some usefulness out of it.
Yeah. So in terms of player usage, we talked about this a lot, and we talked about it, if you guys have followed us at all, we've talked about player usage for UB under Mo Linguist, in the Mo Linguist era. It was atrocious, in my opinion, absolutely atrocious to realistically watch the player usage under Mo Linguist. And in the last 2 weeks, I think that we've kind of gone back to that type of player usage. Obviously, the coaching staff is not the same at all. Like no part of the coaching staff is the same as they were under Mo Linguist, but the player usage, right?
Yeah. More specifically at running back. So
correct.
There were a couple of our backup running backs, Birch and Shelton, that were out with injury. And it was pretty much just Henderson and Sperling today. But the problem is there was a clear distinction between who was the most effective. And what was it, a 60-yard run?
63-yard
run
by Lamar Sperling. And that showcased absolutely everything that he can do and everything he can bring to this offense.
Okay, so real quick, just to hammer the point home, as you're saying, he literally had less than a second to make a move because Gunnar Gray had not even pulled the ball out of...
He didn't
even give the ball completely to him. His arms were still extended in Sperling's belly with the ball, and Sperling had to make a move in the backfield, made one guy miss, broke another tackle, stiff-armed another guy before he got into the field for the 60-plus yard run. So after that, you did not see him on the field with the offense until
in the midway through the third quarter, fourth quarter, something like that.
And I need to know why.
It was very, very clear that one player was easily better today, at least, than the other, right? Sperling had the juice going today. There's no question about it.
Mm-hmm.
Almost every run you saw him, he was patient, he showed vision, he showed speed, he showed power. Everything you want him to running back to show you, and he showed it to you, and he was showing it to you often, right? Early in the game, now I don't know what he ended up being, right? But early in the game, even if you took away his 63-yard run, I think he had 7 carries or 6
like
carries
38 yards
for 38
or
yards.
Yeah.
So he was averaging nearly 7 yards a carry, even on the other ones, on his other carries. And you could see it. It was clear as day that he was feeling it in this game. And somehow, some way, they don't put him in for more, right? And you could, once again, the second game in a row where you see LJ Henderson just be completely and utterly ineffective, right? He had a great touchdown on to tie the game. Great play by Gray, by the way, to find him on that. But just, I don't understand where left here. I don't understand how it ended up getting to the point where you give LJ Henderson the ball 24 times. 24 times he got the ball. I think I'm going the wrong way. That's okay. I'll give us some more time. 24 times for less than 60 yards. How are you it's like banging your head against a cement wall.
Yeah.
I just don't understand it. Nothing about him was effective in this game. And I just, for the life of me, I don't understand it. I don't get how.
That brings me to key of the game number 2, which was the running back rotation.
What the fuck was that?
So the running back rotation. And again, I can check that box technically, but the execution of it left way more.
Yeah, no, so go ahead.
Way more to be desired. So here's the thing. I know that you were probably limited with, it was just those 2 all day. You didn't bring anyone else in for any reason. And I do expect, Henderson to get the bulk of the carries. Yes, he's the starter, the senior, 20 carries a game. I know that's to be expected, but it's inexcusable when you see Sperling play as well as he did and then break off that was a momentum changing touchdown run.
Yeah,
that was a big boost to not just the offense, but the team as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
And then you don't call his number for a quarter and a half. That is unacceptable. Absolutely unacceptable.
Mind-boggling.
And here's the thing. I don't want to make it seem like it's a total Henderson bash. That's not the case.
The offensive
line we feel is being built in a way where it's being more pass protection heavy than it is toward the right. Like, yes, we have always been a program that has thrived in the running
the ball.
And we still technically have a incredibly talented stable of running backs.
Yes.
But I don't know that Lembo wants this offense to be built because, again, he sees what college football is today. And you're not going to win so many games when all you do well is run the ball. You need to be able to pass efficiently. So, yes, I can see the design and where they're trying to set that up with pass protection. And they looked good in pass protection today. They've looked good in pass protection. The thing is, they're not getting enough push up front. And LJ Henderson, for as balanced a running back as he is not able to hit the hole and make guys miss the way Sperling can, which is why I wanted them to have a good balance of switching, just to keep the defense on their toes, keep them honest, and just try to keep your offense on the field. And it just didn't work out that way.
No, it was, like I said, you have one running back who's feeling it, and you can see he's clearly feeling it. By the way, I'm going to just put my address in there so we can get them. You have one running back who's clearly feeling it, who's actually, kind of shifty enough to be able to work with what the line is giving him, and one that is just not, right? LJ Henderson is only going to get what is blocked for you. And as Mark said, this offensive line is just doesn't seem to be built like in years past to be able to move people and create the holes needed for Henderson to be able to be effective, at least not early in this year. It was the same story early in last year. However, early last year, they made the switch to running backs who were performing well, right? So like early in the year, there were other running backs who were having better games, and they would replace LJ Henderson until he kind of took the reins back from them later in the year. But we're just not seeing that so far this year. We're seeing multiple games in which Henderson has 20 plus carries for less than like 60 yards. He's averaging less than 3.5 yards a carry. And that is, especially with a backup quarterback, is not going to win you a game, conference or non-conference. Like that, Buffalo would have struggled against an FCS team with the way that they have been running the ball in the last few games. And like Mark said, the O-line in years past, they were road movers, man. These guys were big, mean, nasty dudes that opened up gigantic holes for guys to run through. And it just doesn't seem like that is what it is this year, right? They need to be, which is crazy, a pass-first team to open up the run. And that is something that we are not used to in Buffalo, at least not in the last 5 to 10 years, where we've always had talented running backs. We've always seemed to have great offensive lines for running the ball. You saw it against Kent State. Again, couldn't really run the ball. Roberson had struggled mightily early, but was able to come back and throw for over 300 yards pass. It was his best game collegiately in his career. He had a tremendous game. He was on his way to another really strong game last week, right? He had a couple of giant drops in that game, and I think that basically is what ended up costing them the game last week, is the wide receiver drops. He had McMillan for like 2 or 3 just massive plays down the sideline. If McMillan holds on to that, you got Roberson with, 250 plus yards passing again. And it just seems like this offense is built more for the pass, and they just don't have the horses essentially at quarterback to really be a pass-happy offense. And I think that's what you're seeing them try to continually be that run-first team. And I just think that Patnaud needs to realize that that's not what it is this year. It's just not what it is this year.
To Gray's credit, he played a lot, but let's be honest, I was not confident it was going to be a great game for him, but
I thought this could be a blowout.
He had the kind of game that you would have hoped he would have had. He didn't do enough to win them the game, but he also didn't do anything to really lose them the game.
Right. He had a couple of errant passes, but he also had a couple of decent passes, right? He had a couple of plays that were there and just slightly underthrew them, right? He had a couple of plays down the sidelines that he slightly underthrew, and those are the big plays that are needed, right? If Roberson's there, maybe they make those plays and they win this game. But again, the play calling also wasn't necessarily great. I don't think they utilized the middle of the field as well as they could have, especially because, right, Roberson doesn't throw the ball well over the middle, seemingly, right, because he's a shorter quarterback. Gray is not a short quarterback. Yeah. Gray is a big quarterback. So why we're not running more routes over the middle with guys like Snow and McMillan? You get them in space. You saw
there were a couple of plays. There were a couple plays open there too.
There were a couple of plays open that Gray missed, right? Gray missed McMillan for a big third down. He didn't have a guy within 20 yards of him, and he ends up throwing an incomplete pass to a double covered Patrick Klatz, but who also played pretty well, I would say, today. I didn't mind him coming in.
It was another injury report. So Morrow, I'm assuming, was probably benched in favor of Clax with Gay things on the injury report. Mm-hmm. And to Andrew's point, when we were watching the game, he goes, well, that part of that might be, we're sitting certain guys because they had bad games, last week. Maybe they didn't have a good practice running up, good practices running up to this game, and Clax gets his number called. But also maybe there's a rapport there. And it seemed to be more just Yeah, so that we seem to be more justified in that thinking because there were a lot of targets for Clax, some of which, like that one we described on that third down play where he should have been looking at McMillan's way, and he forced the ball to
Clax.
Yeah, he forced a ball where he was well covered on the sideline to Clax.
Yeah.
So,
and here's the thing too, in this game, people might look at it, especially at the end of the game, and say defensively they weren't good. And I would disagree.
Yeah.
Much like last game, I understand that last game the defense kind of fell apart in the fourth quarter.
But they were shutting a team out.
But they were shutting a team out for 3 quarters, and you need your offense to be able to not go 3 and out and kind of get you some rest, right? The Troy offense was beating them up and down the field, and you can't have multiple 3 and outs. Your offense has got to come on the field and help you out a little bit by sustaining some drives. They didn't do that, and ultimately, I think that ended up, obviously Buffalo ended up losing the game. Same thing with this game. Your defense played well enough for them to win. Offensively, you got your backup quarterback in. You're not utilizing your personnel well enough, so you're not putting Lamar Sperling out there in a game that he's clearly feeling it. I think he had over 100 yards on 9 carries. Something to that effect. I don't have the stats in front of me.
I got it right here. So 9 carries, 106 yards, 11.8 per carry, and a touchdown.
So he was clearly feeling it. And then you look at L.J. Henderson. What was Henderson? 24 carries.
24 carries, 63 yards, which brings it to 2.6 yards per carry.
And at any level, that's fucking putrid. That's what it is. It's fucking putrid. And that should never... The fact that he was averaging for most of the game less than 3.5 yards a carry, and they kept him in, was crazy.
I think this is a good point because you started talking about the defense. Yeah. So that brings me to my third key of the game was getting a full 60 minutes on the defense and getting them to shut down the more dynamic players on the UConn offense, which was Cam Edwards, the running back, who had 15 carries for 57 yards. So they held him under 4 yards per carry. And then obviously he had the touchdown. But they also held Skylar Belts only 6 receptions, 54 yards, 9%, and that touchdown. So all in all, again, they allowed both those players to score, but also I totally expected those 2 players to be the ones to score for that UConn offense. But they didn't have some crazy game where they combined for over 150, 200 yards. So I think that's still a win for the defense.
Overall, you're looking at a defense that held another opponent, right? Last week it was 21 points. This week it's 20 points. And people might be sounding the alarm about the defense. Again, the defense played well enough to win 2 weeks in a row, and you need a little bit more out of the offense. This team could easily be a team that is 4-1 instead of 2-3.
I also want to mention that they got a full 60 minutes, not just of their defense, but complimentary football, which was a big emphasis for Pete Lembo. The special teams did a great job. Dylan Drennan had some fantastic punts.
His punts were incredible.
Yeah,
he had inside the 10.
Yeah, he did a phenomenal job. So all across the board, this team did, to an extent, do enough that they could have won this game. But again, there were certain moments where they just didn't capitalize to really shut things down for UConn.
The momentum swings in this game were I don't want to say drastic, but they were pretty evident when you're watching this game. There were times in which, the defense would hold UConn to a 3 and out, and then our offense would get on and not be able to sustain a drive, right? So then they would come out, and then we would go 3 and out, and that is a huge momentum swing back over to UConn, who, again, they didn't necessarily play all that great, right? They had a couple drop passes. I thought our DBs played really, really well. Blackwell was very, very good in this game. I thought he was tremendous. He stood out in this game. He made a couple of big-time tackles, had a couple of great pass breakups. I thought he was very, very good in this game.
Shout out to Malin White.
And Malin
15
White.
yards. on a fake punt. Fantastic.
That was
love it.
And I tell you,
love the gutsy play call.
Yeah.
I love that it was Malin White too. I love that it was Malin White too.
I think that is the biggest surprise is the fact that they put their D end in to be the guy who takes that play. I don't know, but I'm gonna venture to say he was running back or something of the sort in high school, which he showed it on that play, right? Because it wasn't just a 1 or 2 yard pickup. He picked up 15 yards on that fake punt, and he was dragging guys with him down the field. Like, they weren't tackling him, and it was a big play. Now, we talk about momentum swings. That is a huge momentum swing.
Yeah.
And your defense or your offense couldn't get 7.
Settle for
3. They settled for 3 on that after that massive play.
Good that you came out with points. Bad that you had to settle for 3.
Those are the times. Those are the things that we need to see this offense score touchdowns, right? We need to see this offense take that next step. They have been okay, but they have not been really good, right? Against Kent State in the second half, they were really good. But against Troy, they were not really good. They made too many mistakes. This game, there was a couple plays. The offense, they left out on the field. Once again, reiterating, obviously they have their backup. Play calling has a little bit to do with it. I didn't love Pat Nodd's play calling today. There were a couple things that Gray just flat out missed. He missed a couple throws that his receivers were open. He missed, like I said, we talked about it earlier. He missed a wide open. I can't stress that enough. A wide open Nick McMillan across the middle. I mean, it's unbelievable how wide open he was, 15 yards. And that is a big third down. Those are the plays that we're talking about. A big third down, 3rd and 13. There's not a player anywhere near Nick McMillan. And he easily gets a first down and then some. And he just misses. He just gets to his back foot and throws immediately to his first read, which is Klatz, who's double covered and has to make some sort of diving attempt on the out. And not even a good throw, by the way. He makes a throw that that Klatz got to try to make a play on that would have got them 9 yards. So it's plays like that the offense needs to start hitting on, because this season it hasn't gotten away from them. As I said, they could very easily be 4-1 instead of 2-3. But the season can very, very quickly get away from this UB team if they do not figure out a way to start putting the ball in the end zone, right? They need to figure out how to put the ball in the end zone, whether it is with Gray and whether Roberson keeps being hurt, or whether it's with Roberson. Last week, again, wide receivers just had the dropsies. Nobody could make a play last week for whatever reason. I'm not sure, but
I would say overall, is it an improvement on what happened last week? Yes. The good thing is it's not conference play, right? So
correct.
If you're going to have these games where you have to learn something about yourself as a team, again, despite how you lose, again, you're sharpening your teeth for conference play.
100%.
And hopefully now, and the big thing is, I think the big thing is going to be you get Roberson back, right?
We hope.
So Roberson's back by October 4th for Eastern Michigan. And
next home game, see you there.
Yeah, next home game, see you there. Hopefully by then, everything's worked out and you guys can really see what this team is made of. Because, again, these are going to be the games that now matter.
Yes.
These are the ones that matter. You want to make your mark on this season? Again, non-conference play is what non-conference play is. And honestly, the non-conference play outside of, what was it, Missouri? Not Missouri.
St. Francis?
No.
Kent State?
No, first game. I'm drawing a blank.
Minnesota.
It's terrible. Minnesota. Thank you, the Gophers. So outside of that, which, again, they didn't play completely horrible in that game either.
I thought the defense in that game was fucking tremendous.
Outside of that, and again, outside of the St. Francis game, because again, it's
That's
FCS team going to D3. I don't really count it, especially how well they handled that game.
Yeah, it was a
Again,
cakewalk.
There's a bunch of stuff to build off of. There's a bunch of stuff to work off of. But I think the way that it was set up I think it was a good scheduling for this team. They got a lot of stuff out of the way. They're working through a lot of stuff, and hopefully now, based on what they've done over the course of the last few weeks, they can take that and then have their best football now coming starting October.
That is the hope. Obviously, Mark just talked about it. They're already 1-0 in conference play. And while it wasn't the best win, it showed that this offense is capable of scoring a lot of points. It's just a matter of actually making those plays when they matter.
Yeah. Execution is going to be everything.
It's going to be key.
Yeah.
And conference play is where it's at, right? It's great to beat teams like UConn. It's great to beat teams like Troy. And you want to beat them, right? You want to have bowl eligibility is still huge, right? You want to have, especially after last season where your team won 9 games, you want to come back and be in that general number again, right? You want to win 8 games. You want to win 9 games. You want to win, 7 games to get to a bowl game. But realistically, this year, especially after last year, it was you are now one of the big dogs in the conference, and you have the talent to do it. You need to go out there and compete for a conference championship. We want to make the MAC conference game. You want to be able to essentially win the MAC conference, right? It's just something that even though we've had some really, really, really good teams over the last little while of this UB program, we have not been able to get over the hump and win a MAC championship since 2008, right? So that is something that this program needs to strive for, is being contenders in the MAC year after year. And it starts this year, right? It starts this year. I think that is the expectation. Don't listen to that.
We're safe. It's just bad tire pressure. We're good.
Yeah, we're fine.
We're good.
It's but yeah, conference play starts now. Next week, Eastern Michigan. I think I don't know what the result was last week. I thought they played a pretty decent team, and I thought they played them well last week, if I'm not mistaken. So it's not going to be the type of game like last season. It was a shootout last season, and they lost to Central Michigan today, 24-13. So maybe it's not.
They played Louisiana, Monroe.
They played Louisiana. They played Louisiana.
The Cajuns.
They played the Raging Cajuns last week, and they won 34-31.
And then they just lost a conference game to Central Michigan, 24-13.
Right. So, what team are we going to get next week? I don't know, but Buffalo doesn't have the talent to just walk through anybody. No. So it's really going to come down, and also conference games in the MAC. If
they're more wide open than you really believe.
It's literally crazy. We just saw it against Kent State. Buffalo was favored to win by 3+ touchdowns, and they won on essentially a last-second touchdown, right? Yeah. No conference game is a given. Every conference game is going to be hard, and most of the difficult teams on UB's schedule, especially in conference play, are at home.
Also, I want to shout out the 60+ people that are tuning in to just watch a couple of dudes in a truck drive home. Should we do this normally? Let us know. Should after home game, should we
I can't
do
see
this
it right now? But
yeah, should we do this normally? And what should we call it? Should we call it the live drive home?
The live drive home.
Is it the live drive? Is that what we're calling? Give us some name ideas.
I got to be honest. That's why this guy's the creative.
Give us something. If you like this, let us know. If you want us to do it more often. We do this stuff anyway.
I'll bring another light.
All right, here's the thing. Full transparency. We don't do this for you. We do this for us. We're egomaniacs, and we just like to hear ourselves talk. But
I just like to talk about the game. The fact that 60 people are tuning in right now.
But if you guys like this, let us know that you like it. And maybe we'll do it more, and maybe we'll give it like its own thing. And this will be the live drive. And,
Yeah. I'll bring a light with a battery on it so you can actually see us when it starts to get dark outside.
Yeah. So we appreciate you tuning in to hear us vent, hear us rant, hear whatever you're here for. We appreciate you being here. So
thank you.
Thank you.
It's much appreciated.
Yeah.
So once again, we reiterate, next week is the big part.
Yeah.
We start conference play.
Real football starts next week.
Now is the time.
Yeah.
Now is the time. And if they can correct the things that the little bit of mistakes, the plays they leave out on the field, this team does have the talent, in my opinion. After watching these 5 games, they have the talent to win the MAC conference. I really think they can. It's going to come down to execution.
Yeah.
And just making play, like I said, just making plays.
It seems like the stuff we're talking about, I get it. It seems like duh, like execution, of course. But I mean, if you really, it's not just like, oh, these are normal talking points for you could apply to just about anybody. If you watch this team, the things that stick out, good or bad, regardless, literally execution's probably at the top of that list. There have been plenty of plays, especially in the last few games, that could have been real momentum shifters, big plays, game changers that were just, they weren't there. They weren't available due to a lack of execution.
Right. So
that's really what it came down to, because otherwise everything else happened the way it needed to happen, except these few plays that were right there for them. Right. They were there for them.
And last year, here's the thing. People are going to get upset about them being 2-3. And I can understand that, right? After having such a good year last year. But don't lose sight of the fact that, like, last year at linebacker, you had one of the best linebackers in the country. And then on his other side, you had a guy who might also go to the NFL after this year. Like, Red Murdoch is incredible. And I think he forced another fumble this week, if I'm not mistaken. And that means he's only 2 shy of having the all-time forced fumble record, right? That's held by Khalil Mack, by the way, which is obviously another UB
school and NCAA
record for forced fumbles. So, last year you have these guys, and this year, and a lot of things went, here's the thing, a lot of things went right for Buffalo to be 9-4. I think they finished 9-4. A lot of things went right. And this year, they could, if those same things go right, this team could be 4-1. They haven't gone right, which is why they are 2-3.
Yeah.
Right? But they are still right there. It is right there. And
you're
one or two plays that are out.
Need of your season starts next week. You're already 1-0 in conference play, and then you're starting off with Eastern Michigan, which I feel like that's a good start. Like, you started with Kent State. We already know how that went. But now I think this is going to be a really good test for them. And the good part is they're at home.
And they got them again.
You have them at home. And then you from there you go UMass. That's your next away game. But then guess what? You're right back at home again.
Yeah.
Which is, again, this schedule couldn't have benefited them more. They just have to take advantage.
Indeed. So now we are pulling up at home. So I want to again thank you for the people who stayed with us for a majority of this. There's about a half-hour rant / post-game show. We really appreciate you guys. Again, let us know. Comment or just shoot us a DM or
hit us up on X.
Yeah,
X. We're on there. You can find us there.
Hit us up on X.
He's on YouTube. You can hit him up there.
Also YouTube.
In fact, visit the page. There's a lot of good stuff that's on there.
And subscribe.
Yes, subscribe, the bell. People tell you what all this stuff is. You know what to do. But he doesn't just cover UB either. If you like the Bills, if you like the Sabres, the season's starting soon, so he's going to be on that.
Hey, 5-2, they're 3-1.
If you like anything to do with Buffalo sports, he's got you. Go check out that YouTube page. He's there weekly. He's dropping videos. We'll get together sometimes. I'll show up. If you like me, I'll come on.
Absolutely.
And you get to see me, but you're going to get him, and he's okay too. So visit him. What are you on X? Tell them what you're on X.
I'm at Sports Talk Buff 1. Follow me. If you are not following me,
Yeah.
I likely will follow you back. I follow back pretty much everybody. Same with him. Where are you on X?
I am NC Sportscast 716 on X.
Awesome.
If you don't know what that means, it's not North Carolina Sportscast. It is Nickel City Sportscast. I just couldn't fit it in. So that's what it is. But that's where you find me. You want to talk UB Bulls? I got you. Let's talk UB Bulls. If you don't want to follow me, I don't care. Just follow him. Check him out because he's got the YouTube page. We're trying to grow the brand, and I'm here to help. I'm here to help.
Yeah, let's grow this thing, man.
Let's do it. Let's grow the UB fan base. Get behind it because guess what? Here's the thing. You're going to get priced out of the Bills. I'm going to tell you. You're going to get priced out, and guess where you should be? You know where you should spend your money? Not the Sabres. I'm sorry. I have to say it. Don't spend your money there yet. You can let them prove to you they deserve your money. But in this economy, UB football, UB basketball, go put your money there. You're going to see some great athletes. All right. You're going to see probably maybe some future NFL players.
You're definitely going to see some future NFLers, especially.
You might see some future Bills there.
I'll say, especially if Pete Lembo keeps recruiting the way he is. I think three of the top 5 all-time recruits, all time, according to 247sports.com, all time. Pete Lembo is bringing them in next year.
Mm-hmm.
Three of the top 5 all time are coming in next year. So that is the job that Pete Lembo, Pat Nod, Joe Bowen, that is a job these guys are doing. Tremendous job recruiting.
The biggest is yet to come.
The best is yet to come for this program, right? The success has come far sooner than we expected with Pete Lembo. Last year was incredible. This year also has the potential to be incredible. He's gotten guys that could potentially go to the NFL to stay. You got Kobe Stewart, you got Red Murdoch on defense, right? Both of these guys have a legitimate opportunity to go to the NFL. And
Andrew, you might even say the future's so bright, I've got to wear shades.
Jesus Christ. That's crazy. Don't stop that. But once again, we're going to end it here, guys. We appreciate you guys for watching. Let us know. Come talk, leave comments, talk to us. Let us know if you guys like this. We can do this pretty much after every game if you want to. The live drive home. Great way to say it. So once again, thank you guys for watching. Have a fantastic week. Go Bulls.